Maybe the Rough Riders will like stop riding their bikes.
Fingers crossed.
What's up, online nutrition coach community? Welcome to day 2 of the audience building and lead generation speaker series. We are kicking it off with an amazing expert. And I say this not because he's just my dear friend, but because he's truly the best person in the world to teach you about LinkedIn. Like there's truly no one else who is better than this. And he actually has a background in health and fitness. So he truly understands what you're going through as a health and fitness business owner, as a coach, and someone who wants to build an audience and generate leads, people who will actually pay you. Because I hear from so many of you, I don't know, like people say it's too expensive, or I don't know if people can pay high ticket or blah, blah, blah. Well, what is an indicator that someone can pay you? They have an income. Where do you think that people with jobs hang out at? They are on LinkedIn. All right, so Scott Aaron is a speaker. He is a best-selling author. He is a coach. He is a business owner. You heard from his amazing wife, Nancy, yesterday, and now you get to hear all from Scott and his brilliance. I know Scott really wants to keep this interactive, so I'm going to monitor the chat. Guys, pay close attention, because if you want to build your audience and generate leads and have conversations with people who actually want to invest in you, you got to get on LinkedIn, and Scott's going to get you there. Scott, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome.
Well, Kate, thank you for the wonderful introduction. It's like my hype man. It's my Flavor Flav. So I appreciate the kind words, and I can really understand and resonate with the online health coach community. I was an online health coach. It's what I did for when I got into the online space in 2013. It's what I basically did for the first 3.5, 4 years of my online journey. And to your point, the reason why I decided to go the route of LinkedIn was because I was looking to go from, I would say, a low-hanging fruit price point to a premium price point. And also to your point, when I started to do some market research and I looked at the demographics of the people that are on Facebook, the demographics of the people that are on Instagram, compared to those that are on LinkedIn, it kind of swayed in the favor of LinkedIn in the sense that it was the types of people that I wanted to work with, 30 to 55. 18 to 29 years old is Facebook and Instagram, even though there is a conglomerate of older people that are on Facebook, but Meta owns both Instagram and Facebook, so you have to kind of draw both of those communities together. But the other big thing that really stood out to me was the average yearly income of those that are on the platform. So when you combined Meta's statistics of Facebook and Instagram combined, the average income that someone makes in a year is $30,000. So to go back to what you said, that the online health coaching community is a little bit frustrated because there are people that 100% want what they're offering, but when it comes time to pull the trigger, they can't, because, and the number one objective or objection is the money objection, because it's just not there. And when I looked at the average income that someone makes on LinkedIn, which is $75,000 to $100,000 a year or more, that really spoke to me in the sense that if there's people that find value in what I'm doing on Facebook and Instagram, there's going to be people that find value what I'm doing on LinkedIn. But when I get to that stage in the conversation where they ask, how much is it that you charge? It's not going to be a matter of can they afford it? It's more of a matter of how can we get started? So that's really the big point that I want to get across to all of the online health coaches out there. I don't want you to feel like you're doing something wrong. You're not. The way that your presence is on social media is great. The way that you're packaging your programs and your pricing is spot on. You're just marketing it to the wrong people. So when you shift your strategy to market to the right people while still remaining omnipresent on Facebook and Instagram, it's important to be on all platforms. But when you start leveraging LinkedIn from a lead generation and client acquisition standpoint, which it's for, not only are you going to enjoy the time that you're spending on Facebook and Instagram more because you're not requiring those platforms to be monetary sources that are not being monetary sources as it is, you're going to enjoy just posting regular stuff while in the background, you're acquiring all of those monetary clients from LinkedIn at the very same time.
So good. And do you feel that the content needs to be different for LinkedIn than what we're posting like on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere else?
No, I mean, if you look at what, if an online health coach is doing the right marketing strategy for themselves and their business on Facebook and Instagram, what they're doing is not selling and pitching. They're educating, they're informing, and they're being visible, meaning they're giving helpful tips and strategies, differences between their methodology of what they're teaching within health and wellness compared to other people out there, giving things of free value, because again, the idea of a marketing strategy, no matter what platform you're using, is to build a know, like, and trust. No one buys anything from anyone that they don't know, like, or trust. So if you're spending time creating amazing content on Facebook and Instagram that's educating, informing, and leaving your audience better, all you have to do is either repurpose it or just copy and paste it on LinkedIn, because that's what people are looking for on LinkedIn. They're not looking to be sold to or pitched to. They're looking to be educated and informed. And if you think about the large demographic of business owners and business professionals, one of the first things that they neglect in their life is their own personal health. They put their work in front of their family. They put their work in front of their friends. They put their work in front of themselves. So when you start becoming that visual aid and that expert in the space of helping busy business owners and busy business professionals leverage the strategies and the techniques that you have with your online health coaching in respect to your strategy, your technique, your methods, and you're providing that through your content that's value added, you're going to naturally have people reaching out to you saying, hey, I saw your post, I saw your video, I read your newsletter. I would love to hear more about how you work with people.
That's so good. And you're so right. I mean, I find that a lot of customer, like ideal clients that I hear from coaches are like busy professionals. And it makes a lot of sense, right? Because those busy professionals, like you just said, are the ones that are really neglecting their health. And they're the ones that they don't have a lot of time to do things like meal prep and things like that. And so, or research, right? Like spend a lot of time researching. I also really like what you said about the people wanting to come to LinkedIn to be educated, because I feel like this is the type of content that doesn't necessarily do as well on like the very social platforms, right? And I think that that's where a lot of health coaches become a bit frustrated, because they really want to share their knowledge, but it doesn't get as much like interaction on Insta and Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what Instagram has gone through some changes recently, where they're actually moving away from video and they're moving away from Reels. My account was monetized on Instagram to create Reels, and I got a notification the other day that anything that I've created reel wise in the previous 30 days, I will get paid on, but they're stopping it as of now. So they're not even doing Reels plays anymore. So they wanted people to create that type of content that educated and informed, but entertained their audience on the platform. So Instagram has gone back to more of like a visual aid. But the thing is that, to your point, if you look at what garners the most response on Instagram, it's lifestyle type stuff, meaning the hashtag epic life that people seem to be living on the platform. Because again, you can't really trust anything on social media, because it's a lot of image driven and ego driven type of things that are being posted. And if you look at Facebook, the things that garner the most response and most engagement on there is typically nothing to do with your business. It's, you can write the most beautifully crafted post that is just giving the juiciest information about what you're doing, and it's like crickets. Your mom or dad might like it, and that's it. But if you see what's going on with Facebook, it's wedding announcements, engagements, births, unfortunately deaths, someone going through a health journey, things that accomplishments in someone's life, your kids. I mean, our dog gets the most engagement out of anything that we're doing on Facebook right now, because Facebook wants people to use it as a personal platform. They want people to show the personal side of them. So to your point, a lot of wasted time and energy is being put out there with those that are writing all that great content on Facebook and Instagram, because people are not on there to be educated and informed. And it's not saying that there are some people on there that want to be educated and informed, but if you look at the general population of LinkedIn, it's business professionals that are looking to network, to be educated in industry insights or tips on how they can improve their life and business. And that's why people really need to be doubling, tripling, and even quadrupling down on their content, and they need to create for LinkedIn.
That's so good. Okay, so I feel like we've made a good point for, like, we made the argument for LinkedIn. So now talk us through like how to actually get started on LinkedIn to build that audience of people who would love to work with us one day.
Yeah, so it really starts with your profile, because the way that LinkedIn is structured, since it is a search engine. So when Microsoft bought them out, 2014, 2015-ish, they took the search engine optimization strategy, or SEO, that Amazon uses, that Yahoo and Google use, because they want LinkedIn to be more of a keyword searchable type of platform, because people are searching and looking to connect with others. So what they base everything on, from, I would say, a foundational level, are the specific keywords that are fluttered throughout your profile, in your headline, in your about or summary section, your experience section, and each description of your experience, your volunteer experience, education, licenses and certifications. Any of those things are all meld into one. So when someone is searching for something online, specifically on LinkedIn in the search engine, you have to think about, what are the keywords that I need to flutter throughout my profile that will allow me to populate? So if you're an online health coach, you are a business owner, right? You're an online business owner. You're a wellness expert. You're a nutrition expert. The one thing that you do want to stay away from, and this is a new interesting stat, you want to stay away from the word coach. Now, here's why. So there's a lot of automated marketing companies that people are hiring to target coaches, to pitch them ways to set their appointments, book calls, generate an extra $60 million of revenue in 6 days, all of these oversold promises. So instead of using, wellness coach, wellness educator, wellness expert, right? Wellness business owner, things of that nature will help you populate more to the right demographic, but also it will help you to populate less to those that may sell and pitch you. So from a foundational level, you have to start with the optimization of your profile. And again, going back to the headline section where the keywords should be spread out, what you don't want to do is a power statement. And a power statement is basically, I help busy business professionals take control of their health and wellness goals through my customized programs and plans. That is something that should not be in the headline. That should be in the about or summary section, which is a description, even in the experience section, about what you do and how you help people. That's not keyword searchable. So no one is searching busy business professional, right? So you have to think about, what are those keywords that someone may be searching that's my target audience, right? So someone that's a busy business professional could legitimately search for a wellness expert or a nutrition expert or online health expert. So again, going away from coach and leaning into expert, leaning into educator, because again, people want to be educated. They want to know that they're working with the best person possible. So I would first start with the optimization of your profile. Now, once that is done, you want to build your target audience. So this brings up an interesting question that a lot of people have. Well, how do I build my ideal network? Well, you have to think about two things. Number one, you have to think about the people that I do want to work with, or maybe the people that I am currently working with that are business professionals. What industry are they a part of? What is their business title, right? Or industry title? Are they accountants? Are they small business owners? Are they doctors? Are they lawyers? Are they female or male? Now, you can't search, female lawyer or male lawyer. You would just search for lawyer and then obviously send connections to those that are either male or female, if that's your demographic. So you first have to fill up your buckets of connections. So this is what I always recommend to people is you should be sending connection requests daily, Monday through Friday, but never exceeding 100 sent in a week. So if you break down that average, it's about 20 a day or less, but it should be targeted from two perspectives. A, the ideal client bucket. So as an online health coach, you have to decide, what are my connection buckets? So who are the industries or professions or job titles of the people that I most want to work closely with? And again, think about A, how busy they are, B, the income that they have to afford your premium service, and C, are they open to networking, or are they so busy that they're not even going to read a message that you may send? So you want to take those three things into consideration. The other connection bucket is what I call power partners. So power partners are collaborators or allies on the platform. So and I know my wife spoke about this in her talk about niching down. It's something that Nancy and I speak about often. So the example that she gave, instead of just being an online health coach, you should be an online health coach that focuses on, type 2 diabetes or keto or, low, whatever it is. You need a focal area with what makes you stand out and what makes you different from other health coaches. Now, once you can niche down and you can target a specific target audience and community that makes you different from other people, your best allies are going to be other health coaches that don't focus on your area, right? So you may be a keto coach or you may be a diabetes coach. You should be networking with other health coaches that, guess what, don't focus on diabetes and don't focus on keto, because you know what? You could be referral partners, because as you're networking on LinkedIn, you may stumble upon a potential client that's looking for more XYZ help, which is out of your range. So you can start doing introductions and basically have referral partners. The best source of leads is not the leads that you create. It's actually the leads that are given to you. Prime example, I picked up a very high level consulting client yesterday from a referral of a client that I previously worked with. So again, having that strong ally and referral partner connections on LinkedIn, as well as the ideal clients, is going to build a strong network, because it ties into everything else, which the third layer is messaging. So when you're connecting with the right people, whether it's from a power partner or ideal client standpoint, guess what? When you send a very genuine message that is not selling or pitching, where you're really looking to get to know the person, that's the idea, is to network as organically as possible without making the other person feel like a sales pitch is on its way, or you're going to spam them with something, because you don't want to send those 18 paragraph long drunkalog verbal vomit messages that you see people sending out on LinkedIn and all social media for that matter. If you really put yourself in the shoes of the person that you're messaging, you will be able to craft a very genuine message. Nancy and I always talk about something called the smell test. If the message stinks, don't send it. So you also want to think about I always talk about the passenger side perspective. So the person that you're marketing and connecting with and marketing to, you want to think about, if I was my ideal client, right? If I was the person that I wanted to work with, would I even respond to this message that I'm about to send? So if you yourself wouldn't respond to the message that you're going to send to someone, why would you send it to someone else? So really think about it. Put yourself in that. I don't think business professionals and online professionals and coaches, consultants do this enough. I think we really skip the step of really putting ourselves in the shoes of the client that we want to acquire. And we're just doing things from the perspective like, all right, I'm just going to throw this message out there and hope they respond. That's spraying and praying. That really never works. So if you were just to craft a very, very simple message that said, hey, Kate, so great to be connected to you. I noticed that you were a business professional in the XYZ industry, and I happen to do a lot of work within that industry as well. Would love to hear how things are going with you, share more about what I'm working on and how we can support one another here on LinkedIn. Would love to speak to you further. Anytime for a call this or next week. And it's very free flowing and it's very easy because, again, from that passenger side perspective, the person's going to read that and they're like, all right, well, they acknowledge the industry that I'm from. They also made it very clear that they actually do work with people within my profession. And you used the word support, which outside of someone's first name, they did actually a scientific study on this. Outside of someone's first name, it's the most important word you can use in the English language because it's been proven that when someone reads the word support, it actually triggers their brain to release a chemical called oxytocin. So this is our feel-good brain chemical. So instead of someone feeling pushed away from a message that you're sending, they're actually getting brought closer to you because it's the warm and fuzzies, just like serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, cortisol. So that person is feeling better about the message that's being sent to them. So your objective is to lower the wall of resistance and raise the level of connection. Now, the other thing that you're doing is you're finishing with a very clear CTA or a call to action. I hear from people so many times, I'm not booking calls. I'm not booking calls. And my simple question to them is, are you asking for a call? And I would say 7 to 8 times out of 10, the person is finishing with a statement instead of a question. They're finishing with, let me know when's good for you. Well, guess what? If you didn't ask when is good for them, they're not going to tell you when is good for them. So a simple adage that I go by, that I want all of you to go by, is you have to ASK to GET. You have to ask in order to get. So when you finish with just a very simple, do you have any time this week or next week for a call or a Zoom? You're asking a very clear question that's going to lead to a very clear answer. Now, here's the fun statistics on this methodology. I'm a big quality over quantity type of person. So if you were, just as an example, you were to message 5 new connections a day, the way that I just described to all of you, only 1 out of 5 has to respond, yes, let's hop on a call. So 4 out of 5 say no or want nothing to do with what you're doing. 1 says yes. And if you do that every day, you're booking 5 calls a week. And if you compound that over a month, that's 20 calls a month. If 90% of the people that you talk to want nothing to do with what you're doing, and only 10% say yes, that's 2 new client acquisitions per month. Now, I don't care what you're selling, how much it is, how little is. Acquiring 2 new clients every single month just off of messaging people genuinely, 20 people a month, I would do that all day, all night. So the fact is, if you follow that 90-10 rule, and again, that's a very, very low projection. So my closing rate is around 25 to 30%. So for every 10 calls I have, I'll close 3 people, and I have a much higher ticket offering. But again, I had to start, Nancy, we were reflecting on this the other day. I was selling my programs for like $250, $400, now to consult with me one-on-one, it's a $10,000 investment. But don't forget, that's been a progression since 2013. That's a 10-year progression. So it's only in recent years that things started to really go up because I had to value my time and the amount. And in the very beginning, you do want volume. You do want to work with as many people as possible because A, that will prove the concept of what you're doing, but B, the referral partner ally strategy will be put into place. So you really do want to think about all of those things. So if you're just closing 10%, you're good as gold. Now, the fourth and final thing, going back to something that we talked about earlier, was the content that you need to create. So LinkedIn is not like Facebook and Instagram where you have to post 6 times a day or 6 times an hour. The beautiful thing about LinkedIn is you only have to post 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's my strategy. Now, in recent studies, if you want to, there's a lot of people that like to go by the algorithm statistics. If you want to go by the algorithm statistics, the best 3 days to post are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to focus on that, again, I don't care when you post, just make it 3 days a week. I teach people Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I call it the bookend methodology. So if you ever know what bookends are, you got one bookend over here, one bookend over here, and you got the books in the middle. So Monday is one bookend, Friday is the other bookend, and the books that you have in between that is on Wednesday. So that's my strategy. And you could do that same thing for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So the 3 types of content that you want to post, and again, going back to something that Kate and I discussed earlier, is that you can repurpose your content. If you've done Instagram or Facebook videos or posts that are purely educational and information-based, you can go recycle them and then post them right onto LinkedIn. Typically, what you want to do is 3 types of posts: video content, market research content, educational content. Video content, very self-explanatory. You can do a recorded Zoom or pre-recorded on your phone or repurposed from another platform, 2 to 4 minutes, and you're educating and informing. You're giving some helpful tips. 3 ways to get your workout in if you're a busy business professional or own your own business. And then you could just say, number 1, do this, number 2, do this, number 3, do this. You know, which tip helped you most? Comment below and then post it. People are looking to get the best information in the shortest amount of time. Now, I do live training. That's a little bit different. I would say that's level 2. I like people to start at level 1. You don't really want to go up to level 2 until you've mastered or at least gotten comfortable with level 1. That's why I always suggest doing 1 video a week, whether it be Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, that educates and informs, 2 to 4 minutes in length. The second type of post is market research. So there's a poll feature and functionality on LinkedIn, much like Instagram and Facebook. It's amazing for market research. So you have to think about what are the areas of pain or areas of struggle that my ideal clients have that I'm looking to fill with what I provide. And an example for an online health expert could be which area of your wellness needs the most improvement. You know, number 1, nutrition, number 2, exercise, number 3, sleep, other, 4, other, comment below. So what this is going to do, it's going to test the market. So when you put a post like that out to your network and people start voting, it's going to reveal to you the areas of help that they are looking for. So if the majority of people that are voting in those LinkedIn polls by a landslide says it's nutritional help, they just can't control their eating habits, they don't know what to eat, blah, blah, blah. You can go back to that market research and say, okay, my network has clearly defined to me that they need help with their nutrition. So as the education and information expert source, which you are, you then take that market research information and on Friday, you create a long form post. And again, it's expanding on what that poll revealed. So you can start off by saying, in this week's poll, it was revealed to me that a lot of you are struggling with your nutritional goals and how to stay healthy. So what I wanted to do today was give you 3 helpful tips of how you can maintain a balanced nutritional plan. Number 1, and you list what it is, and then you give a short little description underneath it. Number 2 is this, short little description. 3, short little description. And then you finish the same way with your video. Of the 3 tips, which did you find most helpful? Comment below. 3 to 5 hashtags that relate to your content. So it could be hashtag wellness, hashtag nutrition, hashtag wellness coach, hashtag health coach, or something like that. So now you have this strict and very simple strategy of, optimizing your profile, building your network the right way, messaging and booking some calls, and just making sure that you have 5 calls a week and that's it. But now you're nurturing those people and those connections by providing them value-added content through the means of a weekly video, a weekly market research poll, and then a weekly long form post that is backed by that market research that you've done earlier in the week.
I love that strategy. It's so easy to follow, and it's giving our audience literally exactly what they wanted and what they asked for, which I think is another reason why we struggle in general to create content consistently, right? Because we're just like, well, no one's responding, or I don't really know what my audience wants. Like, poll them, find out, use it as your market research, crowdsource them. They'll tell you.
Well, I think that it's also, as human beings, we overcomplicate processes. So if something, and I just came back, I did a keynote in Dallas, Texas yesterday, and there was about 50 people in the room that I was training, and numerous people said, what do I do? I'm just it just sounds too easy. And what if I mess it up? And I said, well, the natural progression of our human brains is to make something difficult that seems easy. So I always try to make things as simple, duplicatable, but replicatable as possible. So when I was, a personal trainer and sports nutritionist, both in person and online, I didn't try to overcomplicate the programs that I was writing for my clients, because I wanted to create wellness longevity, meaning I wanted people to be able to work out for life. I wanted them to learn healthy eating habits for life. I didn't want it to be just a short thing where it was so difficult for them to follow the routines and the structure that they would give up after 2 weeks because they found it, quote unquote, too hard. So even with what I teach in my LinkedIn education and my talks, I break it down just like I did over the past 15 minutes in a very simple structure where any business owner, whether you're in the beginning, middle, or scaling stages of your business, could latch on to it and then apply that strategy and technique.
Yeah, that's so good. Something else that came to mind when you were talking about like optimizing your profile and then actually where to find people. I, like Nancy said yesterday, with niching down, kind of like think of who you are now and like rewind 3 years, or, something like that. And I think that that's really interesting because we can use our LinkedIn profile to talk about our work experience and the companies and things that we've worked for, and then actually search for those job roles that we've had, right? Like if you were in IT or if you were a teacher or something like that, LinkedIn makes it very easy to search for those occupations. And if you've been in that role and you weren't taking care of your health, right? Laura Migitano yesterday talked about like creating a story with your content, right? Like, this is where you were, this is the struggle, this is why you're doing what you're doing, right? Like you can do that so easily and talk to your soulmate client on LinkedIn because LinkedIn makes it so easy to find people just like you.
Yeah, I mean, think about this aspect. If you were in HR, right, and you branched out of HR, in the sense that you were unhealthy, you were unmotivated, you were unfocused, and you really needed help. And you went on your own personal wellness journey. You hired a trainer, you hired a nutritional coach, you got great results, and you were so inspired by what you accomplished that you had that thought, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And then you go down that journey of becoming a certified health coach and, a certified nutritionist. That qualifies you not only to do what you do as a professional, but to your point, now you can specifically target that niche of other people in HR, because when you share that relatable story of the journey that you've gone through and gone on, going from being a very unhealthy, unmotivated, unstructured HR professional to now helping other HR professionals, maintain and get a better grasp of their own health and wellness goals, that's going to really hit that person in a more personal way. And it creates more of a trust link between you and that other person, because they feel like they get me. They spent all that time in HR. Obviously, they're not in HR anymore, but they understand what I go through. They understand the daily grind. They understand, the mindset behind things and all of those things, where it makes it that much easier for you to connect with that individual, create that relationship, create the trust, and thus acquire them as a client later on.
Love, love, love. I think you've done a really great job with covering how to build that audience and then how to generate leads from it. So I see something really cool behind you, and that's a frame of your LinkedIn book for sales and marketing. Tell me what's in there. Tell me what that's all about.
So it's my third LinkedIn book. Very, very proud of this one. This was a follow-up to my first book that I wrote on LinkedIn back in 2018. And this is the second edition, because if I want to stay relevant in what I teach, I have to update my content. So in this book, it's about 110 pages. It's a very easy read. It's very actionable. You're going to get key takeaways from every single chapter. You're going to read some great success stories of people that I've worked with over the years and what they accomplished with my strategy. But I do go into greater detail about optimizing your profile, the build of your network, the messages that you send. I even have a transcribed example conversation in there, some great testimonials and interviews that I did with a couple of my clients that were doing great work. I go over all the features of LinkedIn and how to maximize them. So in 110 pages, you can go from not knowing anything about how to use LinkedIn to knowing exactly what you need to do. And, there's some free downloads in there. If you go to my website, there's a compatible profile infograph optimizer tool that you can use to get started with that. And there's actually a coupon code that I created for everyone from this summit. When you download the free infograph off my website, which is scottaaron.net, very easy. There's a coupon code called 5 layers, the number 5 and then layers. And it's a course that I have. It's one of my digital courses called the 5 Layers of LinkedIn. It's typically $197, but for your audience, it's going to be completely free. If at checkout, they use that 5 layers coupon code. So you do, and I get this question all the time. It's still asking for my billing information. Yes, it's anytime you enter a coupon code, whether you're shopping at the Rack online or Nordstrom's or whatever, even Amazon, you have to enter your billing information first, whether it's your PayPal account or a debit or check card. And then before you hit purchase, you enter the coupon code. It will zero it out. It'll process, and you'll get free access to that course as well.
That is absolutely amazing. And I'm so super grateful for that. I just dropped your website and that coupon code in the comments here. You actually said something that I want to ask you about before we wrap up. You talked about in your book, you go over all of the features in LinkedIn. Oh, and I have a question for you too from the audience, but all the features, how important is it to use all of the features on LinkedIn?
Well, I think if you want to be known as an expert or a high-end digital creator, you want to use all the features. So taking advantage of LinkedIn Live, taking advantage of LinkedIn newsletters, taking advantage of LinkedIn creator mode, all of those things, I would say, coupled into one will make you stand out. So an adage that I live by is be a salmon in a world of fish. And if anyone knows what salmon do differently than other fish, is they swim upstream to spawn. So instead of just going with the monotonous school of fish where everyone's going in the same direction, they have the same marketing strategy, they have the same content creation strategy, be different, do something different, blaze your own trail. And that's why I'm a big believer that when the right business owner latches on to my strategy and they just dive into it head first and utilize it to its fullest capability, they're going to get great results. And you do want to get uncomfortable. Anything that you can do, not only to make yourself stand out differently from other people, but to show your vulnerability. Going live on LinkedIn is easy, but it is a vulnerable thing to do because you're in a live capacity. If there's flubs or mess ups, it's called human error, but people appreciate that. It makes you more relatable. But also having a LinkedIn newsletter, which I'm approaching 7,000 subscribers now, is great because it's a way for you to build your list offline, because with a LinkedIn newsletter, every edition that you publish, whether it's daily, weekly, biweekly, or monthly, LinkedIn personally emails every single one of your subscribers your new newsletter edition, where if you put like a little lead capture link in there where you have a free guide or go to my website, it's a way to drive traffic from online to offline. So LinkedIn really gives you all of the advantageous tools to not just leverage the platform, but they do realize that people need to build their business offline. So they make it very, very meaningful for us to not only be content creators, but give us all the tools necessary to take those connections from online to offline into our CRM or maybe an email capture that we have.
Whoops. Oh my gosh, that's so good. So good. Because I know that we've talked about, like, we would love to build our email list. Like, what a great way to do that.
Yeah.
I did want to, Melissa has a question. So let me just try and grab it really quickly. Okay. Melissa said, if we have a new LinkedIn business profile and post there, should we also then share on our personal profile? So she's got a business profile and a
You want to
personal
reverse that strategy. You want to post to your personal and then share to your company page. So Nancy and I have 5 different companies. So Nancy and I always produce content on our personal LinkedIn profiles, which is always going to get more organic visibility and reach. And then for business visibility, we reshare it onto our company pages after.
Awesome. That's super helpful. Okay. Now, obviously, I dropped your website and I dropped the code. Thank you so much. Where
Absolutely.
else and I know that you're here in our group now. So if people have additional questions, if they're watching
please.
the replay, you can comment in the video and you can tag Scott. But I'd also love to know where else can everybody in our community find, follow, and stay connected with you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. I think very, very clearly I'm on LinkedIn. In all honesty, if you Google me, you can connect with me on Instagram. It's at Scott Aaron LinkedIn. Facebook, I have a free Facebook community called LinkedIn Leads for Life, which I post daily to. I have a YouTube channel. I have a great podcast called Networking and Marketing Made Simple. It's approaching 4.5 years old, close to 400,000 listens. I do 2 episodes a week, an interview and a solo episode. 454 episodes now in, so there's a lot of content to get from there. And my website, scottaaron.net, which has all the products that we have, whether it's our group mastermind, which Kate was gratefully a part of, and my digital course, consulting, and everything else that we have going on.
Awesome. And yes, I just actually do want to plug Expert Authority for a moment, because it really is a really incredible program to help really get you up and running. And there's things in there that you just don't get anywhere else, like actually helping you build up your brand. I know we talked a lot about this yesterday, but building up your brand and really stepping into your personal brand, creating your podcast, writing your book. I mean,
yeah.
Truly amazing program. So if that is something that you're feeling like you're really loving Scott and Nancy's energy, definitely, connect with them and see what that's all about. All right, coaches. Scott, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you. And coaches, if you are watching live, if you're watching the replay, if you are marinating on all this amazing information that Scott shared, and you're having some questions, or you're like, I want to take action and now I'm feeling a little bit scared, comment below this video and tag Scott so that he can walk you through whatever you got going on so that you can create LinkedIn Leads for Life. All right, coaches. We'll see you later on for another speaker series. Scott, thanks so much. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.